Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Ajnanam Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome back. Today we are going to learn from verse 24, right? Yes. That is Sanjaya Uvacha. Eva Mukto Hrishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayorubhayormadhye Sthapayitva Rathottamam. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya said, Evam, thus, Uktaha, addressed, Hrishikeshaha, Lord Krishna, Gudakeshena, by Arjuna, O descendant of Bharata, Senayoho, of the armies, Ubhayoho, both, Madhye, in the midst, Sthapayitva, placing, Rathottamam, the finest chariot. Translation. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Thank you for sharing the text. Purport. In this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep, and one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance or ajnana or avidya. Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. As Hrishikesha, or the director of the senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus, he did so as follows. So, these two terms we see in this verse, that is Gudakesha, is important. And Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Sthapayitva Rathottamam. Now, as the Lord placed his chariot, Arjuna's chariot, in between the two armies, so now Bhagwan is ready to utter the words to Arjuna. In the next verse, we see Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashyetan Samavetan Kurunniti. Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashyetan Samavetan Kurunniti. Bhishma granted Drona, the teacher Drona, Pramukhatah, in front of, Sarvesham, all, cha, also, Mahikshitam, chiefs of the world, Uvacha, said, Partha, O son of Pritha, Pashya, just behold, Etan, all of them, Samavetan, assembled, Kurun, the members of the Kuru dynasty, Iti, thus. Translation: in the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Thank you. Purpose: as the supersoul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Rishikesha in this connection indicates that he knew everything. And the word Partha, the son of Kunti, Kunti Devi's another name is Pritha, that is why Partha, is also similarly significant in this reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, the sister of his own father Vasudeva, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things of his aunt Pritha. And the mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking. So purposely the Lord addresses Arjuna as Partha. Because we see, and here this word also, Kuruniti, that is, see all the members of the Kuru dynasty. And Partha, that is, O Arjuna, you are from the maternal side, he is in relation to Arjuna. Actually, we know that Sri Krishna and Arjuna are cousin brothers. So from the maternal side, he is stating the relationship. That is, and purposely his relation with the Supreme Soul, the Super Soul, the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Because the attachment with the kinsman is the cause of our material bondage. And the relationship of the soul to the soul in relation to the Supreme Soul is the cause of our liberation. And here Sri Krishna is the Super Soul, and Arjuna's relationship in this material world also is with the Lord. So how fortunate Arjuna is. In this material life also, Arjuna and Sri Krishna are relatives, and so close relatives. So that is why the relationship, all the relationships have become spiritualized for Arjuna. And here, Kuruniti, that is, they are from your paternal side, and that is why there is a prominent difference between these two armies. So see all the members of that side also. And purposely, Sri Krishna is indicating, that is, behold the Kurus, because as Rishikesha, the controller of the organs, Bhagavan is aware of our mental state, present, past, and future mental state of everyone, always. That is why Bhagavan could understand, that is due to the natural compassionate nature of Arjuna, his dormant love for his kinsmen, that is for the Kurus, will become dominant. And And that is why we will get the opportunity, and the Bhagavan will get the opportunity to render the spiritual wisdom to Arjuna. And it will be our opportunity also to hear the instructions from the lotus-like instructions from the lotus lips of Bhagavan. So that was also another purpose of Bhagavan for pointing out to the Kurus, especially the chief members of the Kurus. That is Bhishma Deva, Dronacharya, and all others. Okay. So with this, we will now move on to the next verse, verse number 26. Tatra pashyat sthitan partha पितृनाथ पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखिंस्तथा श्वशूरान् सुहृदश्चैव सेनायोरुभयोरपि. Tatra, there, apashyat, he could see, sthitan, standing, Partha, Arjuna, Pitran, fathers, Atha, also, Pitamahan, grandfathers, Acharyan, teachers, Matulan, maternal uncles, Bhratran, brothers, Putran, sons, Pautran, grandsons, Kin, friends, Tatha, two, Shvashuran, fathers-in-law, Surhidaha, well-wishers, Cha, also, Eva, certainly, Senayoho, of the armies, Ubhayoho, of both parties, Api, including. Translation. There Arjuna could see, within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. Purport. On the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurishrava, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Somadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Krupacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni, brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwathama, well-wishers like Krutavarma, etc. He could see also the armies which contained many of his friends. So here we see Surhida. Surhida, that is well-wishers, means who have done some good to a person. Who is Surhida? He is Surhida. So, if we consider about the Pandava armies, that is the own army of Pandava. So everybody is Arjuna Surhida, that is well-wisher. Every member of his own party. So he already had a compassion for them. But here in this situation, we will see that after seeing this, he will develop another kind of compassion also for the candidates of the opposite party. Now we see such being this situation, Sanjaya here shows that he will be completely overpowered by the compassion. And mm, usually sorrow or grief arises due to our tremendous attachment and the concept of I-ness and minus. That is when Arjuna sees that all these people who have assembled here, whether in my own party or whether in the opponent party, they are all my people. They are all my relatives, my friends, my well-wishers, my kinsmen. So everything in respect to mine. So which leads to tremendous attachment. And when we are extremely attached in this material world, we actually lose the power of decision making. And that is why here Arjuna is, we will see that how he will become completely overpowered by this grief and attachment, grief due to attachment. So we will see in this, in the coming verses also. Um, and moreover, the next verse, it will be better to study together. So verse number 27, तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेयः सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान् कृपया परयाविष्टो विषीदन्नीदमब्रवीत्. Tan, all of them, Samikshya, after seeing, Saha, he, Kaunteyaha, the son of Kunti, Sarvan, all kinds of Bandhun, relatives, Avasthitan, situated, Krupaya, by compassion, Paraya, of the high grade, Avishtaha, overwhelmed, Vishidan, while lamenting, Idam, thus, Abravit, spoke. Translation. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. So as we were just discussing, that Arjuna, being a pure-hearted person, is always compassionate to the people. He was already compassionate for his own army, own soldiers of his own army, and now he has developed another kind of compassion for the army of the opponent party. So that is why he sees here Surida, all the well-wishers there, and all my kinsmen and all my friends, they are all there standing opposite to me. So in this way, he has developed this compassion. Now we will see. And it is a natural tendency of a pure-hearted person. We cannot say a person to be a real human being if he does not develop this quality, right? Because if we don't feel that compassion, seeing the suffering of the world, then we are not eligible for spiritual growth. And if we are not eligible for spiritual growth, then we have no right to have spiritual wisdom to discuss about, to hear about. And that is why, as Arjuna was already eligible for that purpose, that is why Lord has chosen Arjuna for his highest instruction to be rendered to. So now we see these two, not two words, actually, yes, it is Yuktakshara. Vishidan idam abravit. There are actually three words. Vishidan, idam. Vishidan means while lamenting, and abravit means spoke. So here it is very significant in this verse, which means Arjuna was speaking, at the same time he was lamenting. We see when we are extremely sorrow stricken and try to speak at the same time, then actually tears drop from our eyes, our body starts trembling, our voice chokes. So these symptoms occur simultaneously. If we are extremely grief stricken and try to say something, isn't it? It happened to everybody. So it was with Arjuna. Arjuna became extremely hurt by sorrow. And that is why when he tried to utter the words to the Lord, his voice was trembling and all these things happened. We will see in detail in the later verses. So, do we have time? Okay. We will try for this verse to be completed. The next verse. Arjuna uvacha दृष्ट्वेमं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति. Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna said, Drishtva, after seeing, imam, all these, swajanam, kinsmen, Krishna, O Krishna, Yuyutsum, all in a fighting spirit, Samupasthitam, present, Sidanti, are quivering, Mama, my, Gatrani, limbs of the body, Mukham, mouth, Cha, also, Parishushyati is drying up. Translation. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons, in the demigods, whereas the non-devotees, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver, and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. That is why it is said In Śrimad Bhagavatam, we find this verse, Canto 5, chapter 18, text 12. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvairgunaiस्तत्र samasate suraha harav abhaktasya guna manorathena sati dhavato bahihi. Which means one who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. So, as we said, that certain divine dispositions are availed to the pure devotees, to the pure souls like Arjuna. And that is why natural compassion for the soldiers of both the parties, Arjuna was so much overwhelmed. And as we know, Arjuna was a very chivalrous person, so there is no question of his being afraid for his own life. He was actually feeling for the people, for the soldiers who were present there and their fate, their imminent death in this upcoming war. And that is why he was extremely worried and sorrowful. So, the next verse is also in connection to this verse, so we will have to finish this also today. 59. Here, some other symptoms of Arjuna's physical body is manifested here, which Arjuna is stating himself. Vepatushcha sharire me romaharshascha jayate गांडिवं स्रंसते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते वेपथुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते गांडिवं स्रंसते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते. Vepathuhu, trembling of the body. Cha, also. Sharire, on the body. Me, mine. Roma harshaha, standing of hair on end, which we call goosebump these days. But goosebump could be from some other feelings also, some other emotions also. Cha, also. Jayate is taking place. Gandivam, the bow of Arjuna. Sramsate is sleeping. Hastat, from the hand. Tvak, skin. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Paridahiyate is burning. Translation. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. So Arjuna says, that he is trembling. He cannot stand at a particular position. His hair is standing on end, and he cannot even grip his celebrated Gandiva Dhanu, the bow. His physical and mental condition does not permit. As we see, when we are mentally weak, then we develop a kind of weakness in our physical body also. And that is happening here with Arjuna. Isn't it? Everybody find this. when we are extremely weak from within, our physical body also becomes weak. And that is why always we are suggested or instructed that be mentally strong, have control over your mind. Unless and until you have control over your mind, you will not have control over your physical organs, your limbs. Okay, so the purport, Prabhupada writes that there are two kinds of trembling of the body and two kinds of standings of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realization. We see in the ecstatic symptoms are also of the same category. When there is spiritual ecstasy, then also we find the similar kind of expressions like trembling of the body, choking of the voice, tears falling down from the from the eyes. So these are the common symptoms in transcendence, and in material life it happens out of fear. In ecstasy, it comes out of love for God, love of God, and in the material world, it comes out of fear. So we see Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, as it is said here, namely loss of life. Arjuna was extremely fearful because he was sure that he is going to witness so many deaths in this upcoming war, and all the deaths will be of his own kinsmen or friends or so. So this is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands. And because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to a material conception of life. His heart was burning within him, and he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. It happens with all of us when our heart is completely out of control. We actually feel a kind of burning sensation throughout our body. Internally, it is burning, so the external expression is on the skin. So, all these things Arjuna is facing right now. And see how his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands. Gandivam sramsate hasta. It is sleeping, and it is so unexpected from such a valorous warrior like Arjuna. Arjuna was a true Kshatriya, and he was full and so chivalrous. And this celebrated Gandiva Dhanu, for he was famous, it is slipping from his hands. He was so overwhelmed and have lost all the controls of his mind and all the organs, all his body parts. Today we have to finish the next verses. In relation to this, we will continue in our next class. That is text 30. We will study in our next session. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Thank you.